Alright guys, so hopefully you have now some basic idea of HTML and CSS, because on this segment I am going to introduce the CSS classes and ID selectors. So during our previous tutorial, I give some example of how to use the selectors. So like for example, this P tag for the paragraph. So if we are going to design this like the color is red, then all you need to do is to create a CSS style on it. Like for example, if I am going to color this all of this paragraph into color red, all you need to do is to create a selector P and then create a declaration down. Like for example, color is red, and save. And if we are going to preview this on the browser, then this would be the output. So all of the paragraph is color red. Okay, so don't worry about this content. I just made this easily. So just type lorem and it would give you a default content on this paragraph. Okay, so for example, if I am going to add another paragraph, all you need to do is type lorem. Like for example, the P paragraph tag and then lorem, and hit the button enter, and so it would give you a default content on your page. Okay, so that's the purpose of lorem, so that you could easily give content or a sample content on your page. Okay, so let's discuss first the CSS classes. So the purpose of CSS classes is to use any acronym or a text as a selector, and you can call the name of a specific class that has a specific declarations. Okay, so like for example, I am going to target this paragraph. So aside from this 4 paragraphs on my web page, then I will be targeting this second paragraph. So all you need to do is to create a class. Like for example, class name, class, and the name of the class. Like for example, sample. Okay, and then let's go here on our CSS document, and then to start the class name or to call the class name, all you need to do is to start with a period, and next is the name of the class. Like for example, sample, and then our declarations. So like for example, the color is red. Okay, and background color is green, like so. Save, and let's preview this on the browser. If I am going to refresh this one, and there you go. So not all the paragraph has been designed with this color red and background color green, because our codes here target only one paragraph which has a name of sample. So that's the purpose of the classes or the CSS classes. And so let's give another example of a class. Okay, so let's try this third paragraph. So let's say for example, class name, content. Okay, and save this one, and let's go here to our CSS document, and let's create another CSS rule. So at this time, I will be calling the name of the class, which is the content. So period, and the name of the class, which is the content. Okay, and then at this time, I will be giving background color into yellow green, and then font size is let's say for example 5 pixels, and font weight bold. Okay, and let's save this and preview it on the browser. Oops, it's too small. And then let's change the font size, let's say 15 or 20 pixels. Saved, and there you go. Alright, so let's give another example. So if I am going to add a division here, division, and then I will be naming it the class for the same with the sample. Okay, so class name is sample, and then let's say this is a sample. Okay, so if I am going to save this, and of course this sample text would be the same with this design also. Okay, so if I am going to preview this on the browser, okay, so this design is the same with this second paragraph design. So what if, guys, this design is only for this paragraph, not for this DIB? So all you need to do is, I will be targeting the P, the paragraph, period, and the name of the class, the sample. If I am going to save this and preview it on the browser, and then there is only one design which targets on the second paragraph. Okay, so let's give another example. Let's say, for example, class name would be the same with this sample. Okay, and of course the design from the second paragraph would be the same with the first paragraph. Okay, so if I am going to save this and preview it on the browser, and this would be the design. So guys, what if I will add another class? So let's say, for example, success. Okay, so meaning there are two classes on inside the class. So this is what we call multiple classes. So that is still gonna works. So let's say, for example, I will save this one. So let's say P, targeting the paragraph, P paragraph, the class name of the sample, which has this declaration. The color is red and the background color is green, and period, and then another class which is the success. Okay, and let's give a border, declaration border, say 2 pixels, and dash, and the color is let's say, for example, blue violet. Okay, so let's save this and preview it on the browser, and there you go, guys. So it would copy the design from the second paragraph, and then it would add, or it would group additional declarations into the first paragraph. Okay, now let's introduce now the ID in CSS, and these ID selectors are important or somewhat similar also in classes. So that's the same or similar in classes. So the best thing about this ID, if you are doing something on the JavaScript, and this ID selector is important. Let's give an example on how to use this ID in CSS. Okay, so let's say, for example, this division, I will be naming it an ID. So let's say, for example, ID, and the name of the ID is the page. Okay, and then we will be calling the name of the ID into our CSS style. Okay, to call the ID selector in CSS, you need to start with the number sign or the hash. Okay, so like, for example, the page, that's the name of our ID, and then let's say the background color is gray, and margins are let's say 5 pixels. Okay, so let's save this one and preview it on the browser, and preview, and there you go. So our background color is gray. Okay, so that's how you use the ID selector.